at me trying to color coordinate with the color of the month that I've chosen for February. Yellow, my name is Montero, and thank you for joining me in my journey to watch everything. I just sat down to do my January month in review, and so now we're gonna tackle the February one. So if you have not seen my January month in review, please go to that right now, because all of the stuff that you see in gray here, I will not be touching because we've already went over these things. So without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and jump right into this. From here on out, these monthly in reviews are gonna be a lot shorter because January was a month, of course, where I just decided to try to binge as much as I could, and I started a lot of shows that I needed to keep up with, so they're in the caught up, kept up, and finished tab. But as you can see, this month, I only started one caught up, kept up, and finished type of show. And it was mostly just binges from here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reiterate my thoughts on Welcome to Flatch Season 2 as I kind of accidentally reviewed it in January, so you could kind of go see it over there. But I'm gonna say a few things about Velma, say some things about Not Dead Yet, and then we're gonna move on to the Newly Me era tab, where we're gonna spend some time in there reviewing all of February. So like I said in my January month in review for Welcome to Flatch Season 2, episodes 10 through 13. Oh, and I did not update it on this tab. But I do give this a 9 out of 10. Adding Barb, the character of Barb Flatch, to this show is like adding Danny DeVito to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The character of Barb Flatch just made the show just that funnier. Season 1 was already funny as it is, but Barb really brought it up to the next level. And her relationship with Kelly is just so wholesome, and I love it so much. Kelly, oh, I love Kelly so much. I want to be friends with Kelly. She is so wise. Like, Kelly is so insanely wise as just an individual. It is insane. And Shrub, of course, just being the comedic relief that he is. Amazing dude. When I started the show, I kept thinking to myself, where have I seen this guy before? He's actually from the ABC sitcom The Kids Are Alright, where he plays, I think, the oldest brother. But this show only lasted for one season, and I'm so sad because it was such a funny show, and I had hoped for more. But it only has one season, but you guys should totally check that one out. And then check out Welcome to Flatch Season 1 and Season 2. Both seasons now fully on Hulu, not YouTube. And it gets a 9 out of 10. Velma on HBO Max. Woo! What can I say about the show that has not already been said? Well, I guess I can say that if you were to completely ignore the Scooby-Doo franchise elements and completely just think that this show is something not Scooby-Doo related and it is outside of its Scooby-Doo relatedness, the mystery is actually pretty solid. Well, I wouldn't really say solid. I guess it's kind of squishy, but it's there. But this show tried to be so much and just aggravated too many people at the same time. I thought some of the jokes were actually pretty funny. They offended the right type of people there, but it's the attitude by which it is presented, and I don't know. Honestly, just because of the mystery, I want a season 2, but I don't know if this is gonna get a season 2. I know it was hate watched to death, but could that have accidentally brought it back to life? We don't fully know. Or maybe we do. I didn't really bother to check to see if there was going to be a season 2 of Velma. I just assumed that there wouldn't be. Because it is that bad. It is a pretty bad show. But because I enjoyed the mystery towards the end, and they kind of forgot about being raunchy and being inappropriate, whatever, and they kind of found their footing at the end of the series, that's why I give it a 4. Otherwise, it would just either be a 2 or 3. And finally, Not Dead Yet. This show stars Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin, Lauren Ash from Superstore, and Hannah Simone from New Girl. So of course, this is gonna be a good show. Some people don't actually enjoy it, but I actually do. Gina's character works for a magazine or newspaper, and her job specifically is to write obituaries. But the thing is, every obituary she is given to write, the person of whom it belongs to, she is able to see as a ghost, a manifestation of a ghost. And only she is able to see, and she learns lessons each episode about human relatability and other people, and her spending time with these ghosts, writing their obituaries, allows them to pass on to the next plane. Or does it? You're just gonna have to watch the show and find out for yourself. I think the show is pretty nice. I think it's pretty just calming, honestly, and it is a comfort show that I cannot wait every week to dive into. I'm a little worried that it's not gonna get a season 2, honestly, so please, if you're watching this, go watch this show. Just binge however many episodes are out there. Do it now. It's gonna be a good time. Maybe. I don't promise you. It may not be your thing. but it was for me. All right, so now we're gonna dive into what I call the transition 23. So this is basically where I just try to find small things to binge. I don't know, I wasn't really sure what to feel during this time after coming off of just binging so much from Peacock that I just didn't really feel like binging again, or I didn't really feel like committing to long things, and I just wanted to just knock out a few things and just enjoy watching. So the very first thing I did on February 1st was watch Invincible finally. I watched that on Amazon Prime. Let me read to you what I wrote. Woo, I wrote a lot. It took me about 2 to 3 episodes to catch on that they were basically ending the episode and showing you fake credits and then showing you 10 extra more minutes of footage basically saying, hey, yo, we ain't done yet. There's still some more behind the scenes. And it basically showed a second storyline. I thought that was clever, but everyone is just so used to credits rolling that I don't fully know if people caught on to that at first. And I wonder how many people had to go back and rewatch end credits tags, sequences. The acting in this is so good. Not Arcane level, but definitely something that you see for a comic book show. Each actor is surprisingly convincing as not themselves. The first person I recognized was Jillian Jacobs because I love her from Community and I think she deserves way more work than she's getting, and she is getting so much work and I'm so proud of her. Honestly, I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. Oh, I love that voice, and not in a creepy way. I'm always so happy whenever I see a Community star get more work because they all deserve more work, and surprisingly they don't always get the most amount of work for some reason. But I'm so happy for Jillian that she was able to be in this show, and she did spectacularly. And I kind of hope that she gets to play her in a live action version. Like that would be so cool, wouldn't it? That would be so cool. I wonder if that's why they're like, you know what, you kind of look like you could be a live action version of her. Let's do it. Be her voice. Maybe we'll take it to live action later. I love what Amazon Prime does, that whatever character's on the screen, if you just tap and pull up the information, it will tell you which actors are currently on screen. And if it wasn't for that, I would have not known that this was Steven Yeun. Wow, he's doing such a good job here. I kind of want him to be a live action Mark. That would be nice, right? That would be really cool. And lastly, J.K. Simmons. I was like, that's not J.K. Simmons. That's not J.K. Simmons. That's just some guy doing a really good impression of J.K. Simmons. I mean, because after all, J.K. Simmons is gonna sound like J. Jonah Jameson, and he doesn't really sound like J. Jonah Jameson at all. And that's when I realized that this was J.K. Simmons. And I came to realize that in episode 8. Dude, 7 full episodes went by and I had no idea that it was J.K. Simmons. Does anybody know, has he been nominated for this? And if he's not been nominated for this, then why hasn't he been nominated for this? All of the voice work in this is outstanding by all of the cast, even by those that I hadn't mentioned. Zachary Quinto, Zazie Beetz, Jason Mantzoukas, Sandra Oh, Andrew Runnels, and Walton Goggins, amongst just a few that make up this stellar cast. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Such a good show. Cannot wait for season 2. Then I decided to watch Freeridge, which I did start and finish on the same day. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I give this a 6.5. Let me read to you what I said here. This show had a really rough start, but a solid, strong ending. The writing is a little bit bad. The directing isn't really there. Way too much melodrama, but it all honestly was done really well. The show was a little cliche and it seemed like a edgy adult version of a Disney Channel limited series or a lengthy movie, but it was way better scripted than the other Crazy Cat Lady production projects that Lauren, gonna mess up her name, Longerich, had debuted already on Netflix. I actually seen one of the other ones, This is a family show, so I'm not gonna say it, but there it is. This show also deals with paranormal activity and ghosts. Interestingly though, actor Tenzing Norgay Trainer, who plays Cameron in Freeridge, also has a supporting role in the other show. But they play 2 different characters. But as this show has established, spoilers, you're just gonna have to watch it. Though I give it a 6.5, I do recommend it for a lot of people because it is a nice show. The only thing is, this is attached to another show called On the Block, and I have not seen it. I didn't know that it was attached to it. So don't start this show if you have not seen On the Block, because I started this show and they had some reveals in the first episode that I was like, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to mean something, but I don't know why they're making such a big deal about it. So when I finished the show and I Googled about the show, that's when I realized, oh, I totally missed out on 3 seasons worth of a different show to be able to have basis on this show. So watch On the Block and then this one. Then I decided to watch This Fool on Hulu. I felt so seen. As a Hispanic American, this show was so freaking funny. I love this show. I actually might go rewatch it again just because it was so nice. Or maybe I'll watch some episodes here and there. But it was so funny. This guy is basically me. I am a white Hispanic. I'm brown in skin only. I've had friends during college come up to me multiple times a day just to tell me that they forgot I wasn't white. I took it as a compliment, obviously. I'm like very much not Hispanic, other than the fact, again, my brown skin and my fluentness in Espanol. I really can't speak fluently in Spanish, so that's really, those 2 things are the only things that I got going for me. Once for work, we went out to a Mexican restaurant and someone in our table was having trouble ordering, and then it was me. So when it came to me, I finally spoke up and I was like, I want this, this, and this, and she wants this, this, and this. And every head at our table from work, they were like, because I had no idea I could speak Spanish. A lot of them assume I'm from the Middle East, which the whole entire world thinks I'm from the Middle East, but nope. Born and raised in America, and my parents are from Peru, so. But enough about me. I'll read you Hulu's description of this show because that's the best way I could describe it. This show centers around Julio Lopez, a 30-year-old who still lives at home, has been dating his girlfriend on and off since high school, and finds any excuse to avoid dealing with his own problems. And yo, they include his cousin in this, and it is so funny. He becomes his cousin's probation officer, and you see that cousin dynamic, because in the Hispanic realm, your cousins are basically your brothers. I loved it. I give it a 9 out of 10. It was almost a 10 out of 10, but it gets a little too vulgar for my taste sometimes. And then on the 5th, I finally caved into my personal desires that I've had for years and years and years to rewatch How I Met Your Mother. Honestly, I thought I was gonna rewatch it and be done with it in about a month. I'm still going through it, and I'm taking my sweet time, man. I am enjoying rewatching How I Met Your Mother. It's almost like I'm watching it for the first time, honestly, and it's what a great show. I love it. Continuing on the Hulu trend, I saw Extraordinary. This show is about a girl who is completely normal and she doesn't have any powers, and everyone in the world has some type of power in some way. There's a guy who can, well, I can't tell you what he can do because I will fully be demonetized, but it is definitely a British humor thing, and it is played off so insanely funny. If you love British humor, you're definitely gonna love this show. I would give it a chance. It lands a 9 out of 10. It looks like it's gonna be like a kiddie show on Hulu, honestly, but it's definitely not. It is for the adults, for sure. For a while, I had started seeing things about Party Down and more people mentioning Party Down here and there, and I knew I was gonna need to watch Party Down at some point, but I didn't really fully understand why so many people were talking about Party Down. Turns out season 3 was gonna come out pretty soon, so I decided now is the time to watch Party Down and just be ready for the next one. Honestly, Party Down kind of started out a little not necessarily bland, but I knew I had a job to do, so I decided to finish it. And though I enjoyed my time with it, I see why it was canceled. The problem with Party Down, I feel, is that we've kind of already seen this show, and this is only going to appeal to such a niche amount of people. Finding out which one of my friends like Party Downs and which don't makes perfect sense. Which is why I only give it a 7 out of 10, because though, again, I thought it was pretty funny, it's not the most funny for me, but I do understand why it could be for other people. It is a good show, but it's definitely not for children, and it's definitely not for just the average consumer either. It is quite adult sometimes. Visual jokes really caught me by surprise. So that's my forewarning. It's definitely TVMA, not for children. But what's frustrating is that they only put season 3 on Stars. Why? Why? No one's paying for Stars. Why didn't you have it on Hulu? Drive more sales to a streaming show that actually does well. I don't know, but I mean, will I ever watch season 3? If it ever becomes available to me, I will, but I'm not gonna pay extra just to watch season 3 of Party Down. That's never gonna happen. And lastly, we ended the month with Arrested Development. It was a rewatch and a finish at the same time. I started it on the 17th and I ended it on the 26th. Here's the thing about Arrested Development. I saw this in my 2021 era and I completely hated the show. I didn't finish it. I started to kind of see season 4, I think, and I thought, this is so bad. This is so bad. I can't do it anymore. So I didn't. I stopped. Part of the problem was I had just watched Schitt's Creek, and that show is basically Arrested Development done way better. I was very uncomfortable with the cousin ordeal between Maybe and George Michael. But Michael Cera is so freaking funny, even as a child. Like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. He is so funny. And I really do like Jason Bateman. Not really a fan of Will Arnett, because Will Arnett usually just does Will Arnett. But this year, I decided to give it a new chance. Mainly because there is this I totally think it was false, a false headline that Netflix was going to lose the rights completely and that all of the Arrested Development seasons would disappear from the streaming service forever, and that we would only be able to see it on Hulu, but just the first 3 seasons. And there was a whole thing, hey, Arrested Development is leaving on this day. When the day came, that all disappeared. And there was a recent article saying that there was a new deal struck by Netflix and Disney to keep Arrested Development on there. And I was like, I call Maverick! No! False advertising. I will never believe that it was gonna leave and that suddenly a new deal struck. No, you cannot convince me of that. That's called false advertising, and I'm mad. I'm so mad. About the show itself, it's just alright. I can see why a lot of people enjoy the show, and I did laugh a lot throughout the second watch. And this is why I say, whenever you watch a show, it's almost very important. Actually, no, it is very important. The mental space, your mind frame, your frame of mind, where you are in life, all of that matters when you are watching a movie or a show because it's going to affect your watching experience. I could recount many movies and shows that I've first watched and I was like, didn't really like it. And then I decided, wait, hold on a second. I think it might have just been my circumstance and I would try it again and I enjoyed it. This is one of those shows. So where I would have given Arrested Development a a 4 or 5 way back then, I give it a 7, I would even say maybe a 7.5. You know what, let's change that officially to a 7.5 out of 10. The show so severely suffers in season 4 and 5, but I like that they gave a whole point to Arrested Development and the Blue family with season 5 and that whole mystery. Or I guess that mystery started in season 4. But the fact that they took so long to finish and the actors were clearly different, clearly changed, was just a little off-putting, and it was very, very hard to follow. Very incredibly hard to follow the timeline and the storyline. Even by the end, I was still slightly confused how some of the things had transpired. And I actually heard one theory about, these are all spoiler-free, so I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I heard one theory about the ending that I was like, that's pretty good. That's probably why that one was smiling. That's all I'll say. It was a good theory. But all in all, I'm glad I watched it. It is only a 7.5 for me. I've seen other shows and other shows I would totally rewatch well over Arrested Development. I do suspect that there'll be times where I'll be like, I'll watch an episode or 2 of Arrested Development, but it's never gonna be I'm gonna choose Arrested Development over anything else. I would choose 30 Rock over Arrested Development. And that's not really saying that much because anyone would choose 30 Rock over Arrested Development. I loved 30 Rock. I love Tina Fey. I would watch Great News over Arrested Development. And if you don't know what Great News is, go watch it on Netflix right now. 2 seasons, wraps up nicely. I love it, so funny. So what did you guys think of my work in February? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've seen any of these shows, please let me know your ideas. If you've seen any of these shows, please let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'm a freelance photographer, graphic designer, and writing consultant, so if you have any services, any needs in those areas, I can help you out. Go to my website and shoot me a message. My sushi media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.